This week's cryptid is the Snallygaster of Maryland. Put him on the board, me. There you go, good job. Yep. The Snallygaster of Maryland. Hello and welcome back to Creepy American Cryptids. Today's episode takes place in the center of Maryland, where a strange flying beast has been encountered. During this episode, we will explore the area where the monster was sighted, a description of the creature, the documented encounters with this cryptid, and a few theories on what the Snallygaster of Maryland may actually be. The setting. The Snallygaster is reported to lurk and stalk the Blue Ridge Mountains, which is a mountain range that runs north to south through the center of Maryland. Since Maryland is shaped like Frankenstein's monster's head if he had a mullet, the Snallygaster is located in the top center of his hair. This area of central Maryland is in Frederick County. The creature. Snallygaster is a mispronunciation of Snallygaster, which comes from a German term Schnellgeist, which means quick spirit. The Snallygaster is described as having large wings on its back, one eye in the middle of its head, and a sharp, large beak, which is filled with tentacles. The cryptid has a body similar to that of a dragon or a dinosaur, with razor-sharp claws of steel on its front and back feet and a long tail. It is reported that the creature emits a high-pitched shriek. Some other descriptions have compared it to a cross between a tiger and a vampire. Many researchers classify this cryptid as an air-based cryptid due to its variances in appearance. Due to its varying descriptions, the Snallygaster is difficult to determine a definitive appearance. Most tales and depictions detail a large dragon-type creature. And for some reason, it's met Fred Flintstone. We're not really sure why. However, other accounts describe the creature as a bat-like or a cross between a dragon and a Nidarian, which is a creature with tentacles in or around its mouth. So there's a bat-like creature, there's a dragon-like creature, and there's a creature with tentacles coming out of its mouth. So, somewhere in that neighborhood. The encounters. Legends say that many sightings of the Snallygaster have occurred since its initial appearance in the 1730s. During this time, local German immigrant farmers began to tell tales of a mysterious flying monster terrorizing the area in and around the Blue Ridge Mountains. Although there is sometimes large gaps of time between sightings of the Snallygaster, sightings of this cryptid still occur to the present day. 1909, Snallygaster in the news. A commonly found story about an encounter with the creature comes from 1909. The local newspaper known as the Middletown's Valley Register reported several sightings of the strange flying creature for approximately a month, until one day the story just mysteriously stopped. The first sighting was in Maryland by a man who used a kiln and saw the cryptid cooling its wings on the output of the kiln. When the man accidentally disturbed the creature, it angrily flew off, letting loose its terrible scream. Several Maryland sightings include being seen and shot near Hagerstown, sighted in Middletown, flying over several mountains, and even laying another big egg big enough to hatch an elephant. In early issues, the beast was reported to seemingly be everywhere at once, including even flying over several other bordering states. The Snallygaster was reported to stop by New Jersey and leave some footprints in the snow. Another report described the creature killed a man named Bill Gifferson by piercing its neck with its long, sharp beak and sucking out all of his blood. A report came in from West Virginia where a woman was almost caught by the creature. After this creature returned back to Maryland to lay an egg, in which men unsuccessfully tried to hatch it. Then the beast went to Ohio to make some more terrible screeching noises and was described as having 2 wings, a large head, and a 20-foot tail. Sightings of the creature became so regular and common that word spread throughout the country. Word of the cryptid had spread so far that President Roosevelt almost postponed a trip to Europe to try to hunt and capture the creature. The Smithsonian Institute was also interested and used a description from a West Virginia sighting to classify the beast as a Snallygaster. A final sighting in 1909 occurred in Frederick County, where 3 men fought the frightening monster outside of a railroad station for over an hour before it retreated into the nearby woods. After this encounter, the beast disappeared for 23 years. 1932, the return of the Snallygaster. New reports of sightings of the Snallygaster began in 1932. It was seen flying back and forth, but this time was described as being the size of a dirigible and having tentacle arms. This leads to a belief that the creature can change its shape, size, and color at will. An additional belief is that the lifespan of a Snallygaster is about 20 to 30 years. The creature sighted during this time was likely hatched from one of the eggs laid in 1909. During this time, the beast was reported to steal chickens and other small farm animals. This led to many local farmers painting hex signs on their barns to hopefully ward off the monster. This Snallygaster Jr. is reported to have met its end that year. Reports detail that the creature was flying over Washington County when it was attracted to the smell of a 2,500-gallon vat of moonshine. Apparently the beast was overcome by the fumes as it flew over and fell into the boiling slurry of booze. Shortly after this, 2 revenue agents that had received a tip about the moonshine arrived on the scene. They were startled by the sight of a large, dead monster inside the huge vat of alcohol. The agents packed 500 pounds of explosives under the still and blew up the remains of the Snallygaster and the moonshining operation. Theories. A primary theory from the 20s and 30s is that the Snallygaster was mentioned during Prohibition to scare away tax revenue agents from the local forests and mountains of northern Maryland so that they would not investigate moonshining operations in the area. This cover story was theorized to account for the explosion of stills operating at night, which would make a loud noise. However, since sightings have occurred before and after this time, this theory can be debunked. A second theory is that the Snallygaster is a dragon-type cryptid that lives in the area. This is mostly due to some describing the beast as a cross between a bird and a reptile. In this theory, it is believed the cryptid lives in the South Mountains caves and silently swoops down from the sky, taking farm animals and children. Conclusions. Many believe that the Snallygaster is a real creature with the ability to shapeshift and even make itself invisible. As stated earlier, the beast is also believed to have approximately a 20 to 30 year life cycle. This cycle seems to line up with multiple potential generations of the cryptid and patterns of its sightings. This theory aligns with the first and second series of sightings of the creature. For example, the 1909 series of sightings, after the cryptid fought 3 men and retreated, likely severely wounded into the woods. The second series of sightings were likely the result of an egg hatching and the creature maturing to full size to begin its attacks in 1932. This beast was then killed when it fell into a large vat of moonshine. Assuming this incarnation of the beast was also able to lay eggs, this would explain sightings that occurred in the 1950s. This would be followed by a 4th generation cryptid that was sighted in the 1970s, which led to an unsuccessful hunt for the creature in 1976. Sparse details and rumors exist of potential sightings of a 5th generation Snallygaster in the 1990s. If this is true, and if it once again laid an egg, there is the potential for a 6th generation of Snallygaster to still currently exist. We may never have the answers to all the questions and theories posed on this cryptid. However, one thing is for certain. Something has lurked, hunted, and stalked animals and humans around the Blue Ridge Mountains and its surrounding woods. So if you do not want to hear blood-curdling shrieks, be chased, or possibly even attacked by a large winged beast with razor-sharp claws and a piercing beak filled with tentacles, you should avoid the forests and mountains of Frederick County, Maryland, or else you might become the next victim of the Snallygaster. See you next time, folks.